You have more. If anybody needs more, you have more. Okay? Go baptism.
Hello? Hello, Dr. Vicky, can you hear me?
Looks like she's frozen.
Yeah, I think the network is really bad at our end.
Are we live?
Yep. Mr. Labi, can you add the special guest to the program? Yes, so I think we're having some technical issues with Dr. Vicky Omifolaji, our regular host. She's somewhere in Israel, and I think she's having some network issues. So, so I will take over and try to start today's program. So wherever you join us, so this is your number one show, the Nigeria we want. We're back, to discuss a very important topic, and we really appreciate you joining us wherever you are in this part of in different parts of the world. So we go straight. I have our regular panelist, Mr. Elvis Nwashiko, is with us. You're welcome to the show, Mr. Nwashiko.
Thank you, Wale. Good evening, and good to see you again. Good evening, viewers here from Australia, and good morning in Nigeria. Good afternoon, wherever you're watching us from. It's good to be back again.
Thank you very much. We're also expecting our other regular panelist, Mr. Yemi Shodimo, our big egbon, to join us on the show. So just to go straight, we'll be discussing a very important topic like we normally do. So we're actually discussing the currency redesign and cashless policies in Nigeria with the specific topic, CBN says no going back on January 31st deadline to phase out old naira notes, despite public outcry over scarcity of new notes. So we'll be discussing that extensively on the show today. And obviously, we need an expert to join us to, analytically dissect the topic. So we have a special guest in person of Mr. Onameka Obiareri. Mr. Obiareri is an economist and managing director of Taurus Capital. So Mr. Obiareri will join us, very soon on the show. So we go straight to the first segment of our show, the segment that we call "What is Trending." So if you join us for the first time, that's the segment of the show where the panelists talk generally around trending social, political, and economic stories in the last 7 days. So I'll go straight to Mr. Nwashiko to tell us what is trending for him.
Yeah, obviously, Wale, there's no one else to go to at this moment but me, so that's okay. Yeah, there's not a lot going on. What's trending for me relates to a discussion we also mentioned last week. That's the killing of a man, his wife, and his I think their son as well. The house was touched, was raised down in fire. I understand the police have made a leap in uncovering the perpetrator of that dastardly act. Well, not quite a suspect, put it that way. I understand the house help who was taken away with the son who was later founded. Later, emerged alive, and then the driver, on hearing that this guy had survived, he was arrested by the police because there were pointers to the fact that he could know something about this incident. Taken to the police station, and he feigned illness, or he could have been ill. I'm not sure what happened there. Was taken to the hospital for treatment, and alas, he escaped from the police custody. Now, this guy was taken to the hospital without any cuffs in his hands. So there are speculations as to whether even the cops knew something about it, and no one is really sure. So, but the fact that this other guy was found alive, and this the driver is on the run, and speculations are rife that he could obviously know something about that incident. So that's what's trending for me. Hopefully, the police get to the root of the matter and uncover what's happened there. Yeah.
Yeah, thank you very much. What is trending for me, really? It's been a very busy week. Maybe what is trending for me, maybe I'll just say a bit of those international story. What is trending has been, Prince Harry. He has been in the news lately with his recently released book and all the issues around it. And I think he's been on an attack. He's been on attack on on the royal family. So that has been something that I've paid a bit of attention to lately in terms of international news headlines. So please join me in welcoming our panelist, Mr. Yemi Shodimo. So you haven't missed much, my big egg. We just on what is trending. So you're welcome, and you can go straight to what is trending for you, Mr. Shodimo. Mr. Shodimo, can you hear me? Yeah, I think Egmont is also having technical issues there. Look, if we are, as you said, we are expecting a special guest on the show, in person of Mr. Onameka Obiareri. If Mr. Obiareri is ready, he can join us, and we can go straight to to the topic of discussion while waiting for Mr. Yemi Shodimo to join us on the on the show. Again, we're looking at the currency redesign and cashless policies in Nigeria with the topic CBN says no going back on January 31st deadline to phase out old naira notes despite public outcry over scarcity of new notes. So while we're waiting for some of the technical issues to be sorted, I'm happy I've got my friend Elvis Iwashiku. We can continue and just do our best, despite all these technical issues. So I go straight to the preamble, for that topic. On the 26th of October 2022, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN, Godwin Emefiele, announced that the Apex Bank would issue newly redesigned 200, 500, and 1,000 naira notes with effective from the 15th of December 2022. According to Emefiele, the new redesign is targeted at safeguarding the currency from hoarding by individuals who stock naira notes in their houses, with statistics showing that 84.7% of the currency in circulation are outside the forts of commercial banks, while only 15.29% is in the CBN and commercial banks. That's very staggering statistics. So 84.7% of the currency in circulation are outside the forts of commercial banks, while only 15.29% is in the CBN and commercial banks. The CBN governor gave 100-day window for Nigerians to deposit the old notes in the bank and get the new notes by the 31st of January 2023, after which there will no longer be legal tender. 1 month after the new notes went into circulation and 2 weeks to the deadline, the policy seems to have created more problems than solutions. First are the complaints about the quality of the notes. Then the deadline for the return of the old notes is too short, and the scarcity of the new notes. So, how will Nigerians cope with the scarcity of the new notes amid poor online banking services in the country? So, I put that straight to Mr. Onwashuku. How do you think the Nigerians are going to cope, with the scarcity of the naira notes in the face of poor online banking services in the country?
Well, it's not going to be easy for the ordinary man. But yet again, we have, a large population of Nigerians who obviously will thrive well in this
Can
sort
I
of.
can I just pause you there? If I won't cause too much distraction, just to test, Mr. Shodimu, can you hear me?
Yes, I'm having a bit of a challenge with the network, but I can pick you. I can pick you a bit.
Okay,
Let's
thank
just
you.
go.
Okay, thank you. So I'll go back to Mr. Washuku.
Yeah. So, but at the end of the day, Wale, I will think and I will suggest the benefits that come with the new policy will obviously outweigh any problems that will be experienced with the policy. Over time, I also believe things can be done to overcome whatever problems Nigerians will face with the introduction of this new policy. So beyond the problems, I rather focus on the benefits of this policy as opposed to the problems that are associated with the policy. Yes, the problems will be there, but they are not issues that cannot be overcome. So it's a good policy. I think we should focus on the good rather than the issues that come with the policy.
Thank you. We're definitely going to look extensively into the pros and cons, of the redesign of the currency, and obviously, the associated issues. So, Egmont, you can give us what is trending for you, and also you can go straight after that to tell us from your experience on the ground in Nigeria. Can tell us how are Nigerians coping with the scarcity of the new currency, consider the fact that online banking is not something that is very, very common there, especially if you consider network issues and all of that. So over to you, Mr. Shodimu.
Well, if you permit me, I'll probably just skip what is trending because of time and
Okay.
go straight to the main issue, which is that of the currency, the scarcity and all that. Well, just like all the other policies, they're bound to be teething problems. But the honest truth, just as Elvis said, good morning, by the way, Elvis and Awali. The honest truth is the intentions behind this is good. We were in a very messy situation, and with elections approaching, there are there are smart moves and shenanigans of politicians, and we would expect that if certain steps were not taken, we will sink deeper into economic quagmire. But how are Nigerians coping? I don't know where Nigerians are from. I don't know which part of the orbit or whatever Nigerians are from. The resilience of my people is almost strange, right? Scarcity is not a word that is new to them, and you will find out that with this kind of deadline and policies implementation, it's not been easy. It's not been easy. I'm not even too sure that even banks are very clear about their roles in this, because there are probably one instruction in the morning, another coming up in the afternoon. But we will survive it. We will get through. We will get through. The banks are doing their bits. The people are asking for what they should be asking for. We do not. I'll give a quick example. I gave a trader a note, one of the new notes. That was just yesterday. And he was seeing it for the very first time. And was checking and admiring and probably showing others to confirm the value and the authenticity. And we're talking about just how many weeks to the end of the deadline. So it is an issue, a major issue, I must say. But just as I said, the resilience of Nigerians, they will sail through. They will sail through.
Thank you very much, Mr. Shodimo. So, as I said in the intro, we are expecting a special guest, an economist by the name of Onameka Obiareri. So, we're not really sure exactly why Mr. Obiareri is not with us, but we continue to try our best to analyze some of the issues. So, I go back to Mr. Nwachukwu now, and that has to do with this specific question. Most Nigerians, including the Bank Customers Association of Nigeria, BCAN, has appealed to the CBN to extend the deadline for returning of the old notes. Why has the CBN refused to do this? If we live in democracy, the policies are in terms of the redesign and the cashless, part of it. The policies are there to benefit the people. And if you're just trying to do it so much in a hurry and the people are actually asking for extension, I think with every indications, people have welcomed the policy. I can't remember reading anyone protesting or anything like that. So why is it difficult? Like, why is it that most things we just make it difficult for the people as a country? Why is it so difficult to extend that? People are saying, could you just extend the deadline so that people, especially when the notes are not in circulation? Mr. Nwachukwu, why is it difficult for the CBN to extend this?
Yeah, in my opinion, Wale, I would say the CBN already has given enough time frame for people to actually return their old notes if that's the issue. 100 days, which equates to about 3 months, in my view, is sufficient time for anyone who's seriously looking at returning their old notes to the bank, except for individuals who have stashed away billions of naira, in their soccerways, in their backyards, and wherever they can stash those monies in. I don't think the ordinary Nigerian has that problem. I guess the ones that may be really concerned are those ones who have stashed away large amounts of cash and probably need more time to get that money back into such monies back into circulation. I mean, reasonably, 3 months is enough time to put that money back in the system. And it may also not be unconnected with the fact that pundits have stated, the CBN, part of the reason this is coming at this time is also to curb that habit of money flowing around, cash flowing around, politicians attempting to influence the political process by giving out cash monies to people to influence their votes or their decisions on who to support. So it's timely. The election is in February. If they have such worries, extending it will mean the problem they're actually trying to solve may not be solved, because election is around the corner. If you extend it by another 1 month, it gets into the electioneering period. Okay. And of course, cash will exchange hands. So, 3 months is sufficient for anyone. Typically, global standard is for currencies to be changed 5 to 8 years. Globally, Nigeria is long overdue. And if we have had that length of time, 3 months, to take our monies back into the system or into the banking sector, then that's enough time. Except for people like me who are in Australia, who may not, will lose out, because I also have some naira here, and then I don't get the benefit of I don't get the benefit of
yeah. And I think more, just in terms of comparison, one of the biggest issues around the amount of money not within the bank vaults, as I read in the intro earlier, that we have over 84% of the of the currency in circulation in private hands, not with the bank. From that statistics, maybe only about 14 or 15%, of the total currency is within the bank. So if you compare that by the global standard, which is a good example, we live in a cashless society. I would say 90, if not more percent of the currency that we have in circulation in this country, they are within the bank, because most of the transactions are done like on cards, just making transfers. So it's very easy. I can't even remember any time, anytime there was ever any announcement that there's a redesign of the note, whatever. We just see that we see a new notes. You go to the ATM, whatever, you get new notes. Sure. But you made a valid point. You made a valid point around the election.
Having considerable cash back in the system also will help the inflationary trends in Nigeria, which is one of the reasons why, there are a variety of reasons, and that's one of them too. So, between now and the 31st, is still enough time for anyone to, deposit whatever cash they have in their possession back into the system. So only those who have stashed away, large amounts of money are the ones who will have this concern. The ordinary man in Nigeria wouldn't.
Thank you, Mr. Onwashiko. So I just acknowledge some of our regular viewers, Tolu Felicity, Temitope Ashaolu, Damilola Bayomi, Oluwafemi, and a few other ones. Please, share, comments, like our page and like our YouTube channel. This is something special for Dr. Vicky to do in terms of these announcements. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work, today, because, last week, we gave out some money just to encourage our viewers. I'm not exactly sure how it's going to work out tonight. Probably towards the end, if you're able to get comments or written updates from Dr. Vicky, I'll make some, I'll make an announcement. But for now, I don't want to really commit to something I'm not 100% sure. So, but thanks for joining us, and please share and comment, as you watch the show. I'll go back to Mr. Shodimo now. I think he's
Wale, sorry. Before you come back to me, I'm far away in Ijebu Waterside, Ogun State.
Okay.
And I want to try and do a kind of vox pop in terms of the reactions of the ordinary Nigerians to the introduction of these new notes.
Okay.
So if you just give me, if you give me 1 minute while we keep the discussion going, I'll get 1 or 2 people on the street to react to this topic. That's if you permit me.
Oh, but definitely I'm sure your journalistic instincts just kicking there, right there on the spot. Please, please do what you need to do, Mr. Shodimo. Let's hear from.
Okay, I'll get them. I'll get them on camera and see what they think in terms of this new naira notes. But let's keep the discussion going while I do that.
Okay, yes, because
let's keep the discussion going while I do that.
So if we're trying to. I just want to excuse Elvis a little bit, but okay, maybe I have to go back to Elvis while you're trying to get people.
Please, could you just for 1 minute go back to Elvis before you come back to me?
Okay, I will.
Okay.
Okay, so Mr. Nwashiku again, I think maybe you need to get some water to drink, and because I know I'm keeping you really busy. But I'll come back to you. The CBN pointed out that the redesigning of the naira notes will help to cut counterfeit notes and reduce ransom payment to terrorists and kidnappers. Do you think this is a plausible argument?
I just want to have your view
in terms of
it.
The government.
I want to have your opinion on it. Whether you and how did you receive it?
Yeah, well, do you want to mute for a moment?
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wale, I have someone with me here. Who is going to tell us our opinion on this. How are you, ma'am?
Good afternoon.
Could you please speak out louder?
Good afternoon, sir.
What's your name, please?
My name is Omoju Tombolo Atife.
And this is where? This location? Where is this?
We are at Ogunwota side, Abiki.
Okay, fine. Talking about the new naira notes, when did you first see the new naira notes?
I saw the new naira notes on the 3rd of this year, January 1st.
Okay, and what was your reaction? What was your reaction to it? Do you people spend it here now?
It's not yet spent here because it just arrived here in this year, maybe on the 1st of this month. Yeah.
So if anybody brings it here to buy, because I see that you sell cement, right?
Yes.
Okay, please just come. If you sell cement and okay. You sell cement here,
yes.
And if I come here with the new naira note to buy cement from you, will you accept it?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
That would be the first person. That would be the first person there. I will get someone else in a second or two while we keep the discussion going.
Okay, no worries. Thank you.
So, in terms of whether it will checkmate counterfeiting of existing notes, I think that's quite plausible. That's plausible. But again, it will only take time for people who are in the trade of counterfeiting to begin to counterfeit the new notes. I don't think that's impossible. But
they are already counterfeits. I've seen videos,
okay,
online.
you see, yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not a very plausible.
A lady was sharing her experience. She went somewhere in Lagos, one of the stores in Lagos. She bought some items. She said maybe about 10 minutes before she went to that shop, she cashed out some money at these POS businesses, one of the POS businesses, and then they gave her a 1,000 counterfeit. And then she went to shop and she bought something and gave the seller that fake money right in the middle of Lagos. And she said they nearly lynched her for spending fake money. And the lady she made that post just telling people to be careful. And then she could see her just playing around here, and you could see the paint just peeling off, from the money. It looks so counterfeit by every standard. Okay, over to you again, Mr. Shodim. I can say you have another.
Yes, Mr. Kindly introduce yourself.
Olotu Jimmy Olatunji is my name.
Can you be louder, please?
Olotu Jimmy Olatunji is my name.
Okay. This is where our location is the waterside right now.
Yes.
Okay. So, what is your opinion about this new naira note? When was the first time you saw it?
I saw it about a week ago.
Just a week ago.
Yes.
For the first time.
And I tried to spend it, and people refuse it. They refuse to take it from me.
They refuse to take it from you.
Yes, because it is not a new design. It's just change of the coloring. So, and the new coloring, just the same with the counterfeit.
You are saying there is counterfeit outside there?
Yes, there's counterfeit outside. And people are thinking that the new note, whenever you give it to them, they suspected it that this may be counterfeit. They want the old one.
Wow.
Yes.
Now, CBN has given a deadline of 31st of January for people for the deadline, the end of the old naira notes. What is your reaction to this? 31st of January?
I don't think that date. It's a day that they can do such a thing, because
you don't think it's feasible.
It is not feasible, because they must first ensure that they have already taken in all the old
notes.
But at the moment, the old note is still about 90% outside now.
So what other advice would you give?
Well,
are the banks issuing the new notes?
The banks should give us extended time and make sure that before they end it, they must have seen that 90% of the old notes is in the bank.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Olotu, for joining us, and thank you, Egbon, for that. Very proactive, journalistic instinct that just kicked in right there. So I will come back to you. You can't escape my question, Egbon. Quite all you've done, come back to you and ask you your own question, which I was there before. Alongside the of 500,000 naira for individuals and 5 million naira for corporate organizations. How practicable are these policies considered in a country? Specifically around the cash withdrawal limit of 500,000 naira for individuals and 5 million naira for corporate organization. How practicable is this in terms of considering the situation of things in the country?
Well, it's going to take a lot of adjustments for that to work. Well, I'm aware of the fact that it is, of course, it's still part of executing a cashless policy. But I can tell you that the volume of business that some people do on a daily basis would be adversely affected. That is one. Two, we are in a society where technology is not at its peak. And if we do not solve the issue of technology, coping with this will be a very, very uphill task. It will be an uphill task. But then we are in a situation where we either need to do something drastic or fall into a drastic situation. I still believe it's still a drastic approach aimed at curing a very bad ailment. How will we survive this? We'll still watch.
So thank you, Mr. Shodim. Again, we're just trying our best to just have a balanced, discussion on this very important topic.
Yes.
Another issue that is coming out that I, just get a reaction from Mr. Nwachukwu has to do with the fact of that scarcity. People are saying that the ATMs, that the new notes are not really available in ATMs, and that is causing scarcity and anxiety. And with about 2 weeks to go, just to the deadline, you won't begin to think that how realistically you want that. You give people deadline, you want them to really comply. But even the basic form of transaction, going to ATMs to withdraw money, people are not getting the new notes from there. There is scarcity of the new notes. They can't get it from the ATM. One would think that the ATM should be loaded with the new one, so that is a way of getting it back in, getting it more into the society, into the circulation. Do you think people really genuinely they have a case there that the people, the money are not really where they should be in the ATMs?
There's a legitimate concern there, Wale. I do agree. However, we should also put our minds to part of the reasons why these notes have been redesigned. I think, one of the reasons enumerated by the CBN is also to engender the cashless policy. Perhaps people should start looking at, alternative ways of doing their transactions rather than just focusing on transacting everything in cash. So we also, as individuals, need to support the CBN to sustain this policy. I mean, we just mentioned the limits available to individuals and corporate organizations. If you are in the position where you have such amount of money in your bank account, it just tells me you are not just an ordinary Nigerian. You are doing very well. In the language of Mr. Macaroni, you're doing very well. Yes. So our people should look towards bank transfers as means of transactions, and checks valid. I mean, there are legal tenders as well. It doesn't have to be all cash at the start. Yes, there'll be problems, especially looking at our home country. The country we come from is not going to be smooth sailing, but the dust will settle down the track. It's going to take time. It's not a walk in the park, especially in a place where people are so used to doing everything cash. Well, we should also look at the dangers associated with those cash withdrawals, and at least try and focus more on doing transactions in alternative ways rather than just focusing on the cash transactions. So at the start, yes, there'll be problems. The CBN, I'm sure they're not finding it easy as well, but we'll get there. It's just a matter of time. This will fade away, and we'll have the new naira notes to to contend with and be used as legal tender for transactions in Nigeria.
Thank you, Mr. Nwashiku. I can see Egbon still interacting with Nigerians on the streets of Ijebu Waterside. I'm not exactly sure which location in Ijebu Waterside, whether Biggie or somewhere else. Egbon, do you have any further update for us? I can see you are mobile again.
Yes, I do. Please, can you introduce yourself?
My name is Kolade Shegun Okeowo. I'm a filmmaker. I'm also a politician.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
Okay. Now, let's talk about this deadline by CBN.
Okay.
The 31st of January is the deadline.
Well,
how feasible is this? What has been the challenges?
I'm not a prophet, but I can predict that there will be an extension, because by and large, the populace seems not to be well aware. For example, I saw the new notes very recently. Even with all my exposure and what have you, I saw the new notes only a few days ago, maybe about 2 weeks ago. So I presume the same will be for people like me and even people who are in the rural areas. So I sincerely think that there will be a need for an extension of this, maybe for another 2 months or maybe after the elections. But I foresee there will be an extension. The information has not generated down to the rural areas enough. So that's my take.
Thank you so much. Now, I have somebody in the finance sector with us here who is obviously actually well placed to have an opinion, a very strong opinion on this. Please can you introduce yourself, sir?
Good afternoon, House.
good afternoon, sir.
My name is Dr. Babatunde Onodeko. I hope
Yes.
you are having a fruitful discussion.
Yes, we are.
We do. Definitely we are.
Yes.
And it's good to have you,
Yes,
Dr.
where can I come in? I jump into the discussion.
Okay, so we've touched on a few areas, but are we put one specific one to you? The CBN has vowed to sanction any commercial bank ordering the new naira notes, as well as certifying marketers to guarantee availability. Can this solve any problem? So we're looking at two areas. We're looking at the area of CBN, threatening to sanction commercial banks who are ordering the new, allegedly some banks are ordering the new notes, and also putting some responsibility on the marketers as well to guarantee availability. So in your opinion, sir, can any of these solve get us out of the quagmire that people are currently in terms of the availability on one hand, and on the other hand, trying to meet the deadline?
Yeah, let me thank you most sincerely for this honor. Unfortunately, I have a very limited time. I will be getting off the vehicle now to quickly take an urgent assignment. But it will interest you to know that you are talking to a professional and a chartered banker. I retired from First City Monument Bank about 3 years ago at the regional level. And I think with humility, I will tell you that I think I'm in a position to say one or two things to this discussion. Quite unfortunate. I overheard someone very close to me telling you that CBN is yet to make adequate public awareness on this issue. It will also interest you to know that just about 2 weeks ago, I got hold of the new 1,000 naira denomination and the 500. As I speak, I'm yet to set my eyes on the 200 naira denominations. And I can also tell you that there's a circular issue to the commercial banks. We call it the DMBs, deposit money banks that the 200 naira denomination should be stuck into the ATMs, and the 1,500 should be given to people at a few currencies, even to the extent that asking the commercial banks to write down the numbers of currencies given to people. For me, we really do not need to go to this extent. But I think, I don't know how long this discussion will be. I need to quickly step down from the vehicle. I think I'll join you later. I'm sorry, I have a limited time.
Thank you so much, Dr. Onodeko. We really appreciate your time, despite the impromptu nature of our question. We definitely, appreciate your time.
Wale, there is one more here. There is one more here. And please, if you don't mind, quickly introduce yourself.
Yeah, my name is Kehinde Ojo. I'm a broadcast journalist. And I've also followed this particular discussion. And concerning the change of the currency change, I think, number one, there are issues with making it public. The public, and they are not aware at all about what the whole essence is. And they believe that the new currency is actually has belittled the weight of the Nigerian currency. Then, talking about the possible extension, I have just told my own brother here that it may not be possible because the sponsors of this, or the promoters of this change, they have an agenda, which I believe is purely political, to make sure that people don't have money that have been stored, as an instrument that can be used to alter the pattern of the election. So I don't see a possible, shift in the date of that's the expiration of the day for you to lodge your old currency in. But by and large, I believe that if the sponsors are sincere, and if they are not sectional, they are not witch hunting a particular set of people, and there are no backdoors for people who have this, notes stored at home in large volumes, backdoor for them to change, I think it will be a good thing for our country. And for the first time, our elections will be, devoid of vote buying, open vote buying. So I want to believe that it's a good move. But number one, the CBN, they need to do a lot of sensitization for people to understand precisely why this is on. And I also believe that in the few days to come, these notes will be pushed out because of the agenda of the sponsors or the promoters. That's my view.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Wale, can I react to that? I was gonna react.
He made some valid point. In my opinion, it presents more balanced views and a few. Okay, so
I
think my colleague here has a question for you.
Well, more of a comment than a question.
Okay.
A few things you mentioned here that I totally agree with. So this is going to dissuade the attitude of vote buying and make our elections credible. I agree with that 100%. In the area of sensitizing our people, I believe the CBN has put out enough information out there for people to access. I don't take for granted the fact that, we have people in the rural areas who may not have access to such information. That's where we come in. Perhaps we also need to do some educating of our people and providing them this information and letting them know
Can I come in here? Can I come in here? You talk about people in the rural areas. I live in the heart of Lagos. As I speak, I've only been able to see two denominations, the 1,000 naira and I think the 500. So if I live in the heart of Lagos and I still have little experience with this note, I think there's a bigger problem, which the CBN needs to take, the bulls by the horn. I keep asking, what is the essence of the National Orientation Agency when it comes to issues like this? The CBN should work, closely with the National Orientation agencies and get to the grassroots. Even the metropolis too should be well sensitized. There's a big problem of understanding. People have believed that the money, the new currency is fake, and there's need for the central bank, in collaboration with all the agencies that can do a lot of orientation, assimilation, and sensitization, to go on the field and make this, possible.
I agree with you totally, but that doesn't negate the fact that we also, regardless of where we're located, you know, I can sit here and ring up my cousins in the village, or, you know, those individuals I know that don't have access to this level of information, to also educate them. So that's our role to play, to support the government in their bid to, you know, get the right things done. Yeah.
Thank you very much. And because of time, I just quickly want to acknowledge, you know, our regular viewers, Tolu Felicity, Blessing Oparaku, Blessing Kolade, Oluwafemi, Damilola Bayomi, Temitope Ashaulu. If it's possible, you know, producer would like to just, you know, we're going to that session where I just want to read some of the comments from, you know, our viewers, but obviously we've taken reactions from the streets, in like, so Egbon, thank you very much for doing that. We're taking reactions from Nigerians on the streets, and obviously I will just quickly summarize the key, you know, points here. You know, we've discussed the need, you know, for to embrace, you know, the policies, you know, despite some of the, you know, challenges, that there's nothing good without, you know, challenges. You know, we've commented about the resilience of Nigerians to adopt and adapt, you know, to change, no matter how stressful, you know, the change can be. That our people are very resilient people, and, you know, they are showing that for now. We've discussed here, our panelists said, look, the government has given enough time to really sensitize the people, to promote the program, and it just, you know, we have to locate that people also need to take, you know, responsibility on this. People on the streets, you know, they've commented, and I think if I have to weigh the comments from the streets, they believe that there's need to put more, you know, to do more in terms of, you know, creating awareness, using the National Orientation Agency to promote, you know, to promote the importance of the redesign. And also people spoke extensively about the need that obviously this particular redesign would curb, you know, vote buying, you know, during elections, and that, you know, is something really good for our democracy. Earlier, Mr. Washiko also said that there's a need for us as a people to embrace alternative, you know, ways of doing things, that in terms of reducing, you know, trying to get more into that cashless society and use other form of, you know, electronic transactions. So I would just pause there. Is being, I think when we started, we had different ideas, but the program has taken a different dimension in terms of that, getting that contact from the streets. So thank you, everyone. Because of time, I will not be able to really go through some of the comments, but, you know, I can read Femi Temitope Shaolu, may God help our nation. That's from Blessing Kolade. Also commenting, which other comment do we have there? So we, you know, as I said earlier, last week, Temitope Shaolu said CBN should increase the sensitization. So, well, again, one of our viewers calling the need to increase, you know, creating that awareness. And also, they have really touched the grassroots. They have really touched the grassroots at all. Increased sensitization should be done. I think maybe that means they have not really touched the grassroots at all. Increased sensitization should be done. So I'll leave you then, and I will just give Mr. Nwachukwu also the opportunity before I close the show to say, you know, his final words. And also regarding what we did on this show last week, I would think you will hear from Dr. Vicky after this. She's in Israel. She's having some issues around, but all you can do, I can just encourage you, comment, share, like, and everything of today's show. I'm sure Dr. Vicky at our own level, we go through some of those comments, who has reacted, who has liked, and then we'll come up with what she intends to do in terms of the continuation of what she did last week, giving out some money to some viewers. So I go back to Mr. Nwachukwu Elvis to give us his final word.
Thanks, Wally. Yeah, so my final words will be, in as much as this policy has its inherent problems, as I stated prior, I think we should just focus on the benefits that this policy brings to the table. For example, it's going to reduce, obviously make useless the monies people have hoarded that are not in the system. It's going to check counterfeiting. Well, we say there are already counterfeit notes in place, but that's part of the intention. It's expected to strengthen the economy if implemented properly. It will promote financial inclusion and enhance the CBN's visibility of money supply. In addition to that, it is hoped that this policy will reduce inflationary trends, which is going to increase, the strength of the naira. So as much as, yes, it's problematic at the start, the dust will settle. So I encourage everyone, if you still have those notes piled up somewhere in your house, you have enough time between now and the 31st of January to just hand them in. Let's all do the right thing. Let's promote the cashless policy and look for alternative ways to do our transactions. At the end of the day, not carrying cash on you also reduces the risk of you being attacked by hoodlums. So let's support the government. Let's support the CBN to do the right thing. So these are my final words.
Thank you very much, Mr. Nwachukwu. We did it, and many thanks also to Mr. Yemi Shodimo. We made it work, and kudos to everyone. And Dr. Vicky in the background somewhere. I read she's going to make the announcement about the winners maybe in the next 5 hours. They will go through the comments and then they decide the winner. So just be on the lookout at Nigeria One page for the updates. On that note, thank you everyone for joining us. We'll be back next week with another topic. Have a great weekend and see you next Friday. Thank you. Bye.
Good night. Bye.
Yeah.
Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria. The Nigeria we want. With Yomi Folaji. Yemi Shodimu. Wale Olaito. Abisi Washuku. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria, on Biggie Ocean. The Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria, Giant of Africa. Nigeria we want. Great Nigeria.